Hi, I'm Dan Can. You want to know how to make money in your sleep? You want to help me complete this three-part series? Well, you've come to the right place. I'm going to tell you some Dan Can musings, and I'm going to share with you how to attract investors and how to make money in your sleep. Hi, welcome back. I'm Dan Can. Welcome to the Dan Can Show. This is a show where I love to share, teach, mentor, and coach how to provide, protect, and promote your family, yourself. I also have a desire to help you lead your family and your business and do that with integrity. We invest in ourselves, we invest in our family, and we invest in real estate. That's what this show is about. If you'd like to invest with me, I encourage you to check out my website, Invest with Dan Can. And I'll say that again because every good salesperson says it twice. Investwithdancan.com. And I would love to set up an appointment to talk to you about our investments here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. Okay, I'm going to start a new segment, and I'm really excited about this. This is called Dan Can Musings. What does that mean? I notice things. I have mentioned in a prior podcast that I went to college at first to be a cultural anthropologist. And that's because I grew up in two different cultures. I grew up with the Latino culture, and then I also grew up with a British culture, which, as you could imagine, those are very different cultures. So I notice things, and I've come to find out that my friends and family enjoy it when I mention these things that I notice. So the first one is this: I love reading books. And so when I read books, I oftentimes come across quotes that I would love to share with you. And so here's one that I want to share. And this is from our former president, Mr. Abraham Lincoln. And this is just a fabulous quote. And it says, "Whatever you are, be a good one." Whatever you are, be a good one. So there's a lot of different ways we could take this quote. But what I took from it is this: whatever you are striving to be, I would encourage you to do it with excellence. And I would encourage you to do it with righteousness, love, truth, and humility, whatever that looks like. We focus on biblical principles on this podcast. I'm a Christian. I'm a follower of the way. And I do my best to exemplify those principles every day. And so I'm trying to be the best believer I can be. Now, the beauty of that is that I'm totally relying on the Holy Spirit to fill me and allowing me to shine for his kingdom and not myself. That is not an easy task, but I believe God wants to do that work in me. So Dan Can Musings is this wonderful little opportunity of me going over quotes. So Abraham Lincoln asked us, whatever we are, be a good one. The second Dan Can Musing, so you don't get one, you get two on our inaugural trip here, is a funny thing I noticed the other day. I live here in beautiful Spokane, Washington, and I have some friends and mentors of mine that live in Seattle, Washington, which is about 300 miles west of here. For the last 10 years, decade, these three men have been flying over from Seattle to encourage me, mentor me. They do what we call a down and back, where they fly over in the morning. So, they're up at 4:35 to get to the airport, Seattle. They come over. I pick them up about 9 a.m. We go and look at properties, and then we golf 18 holes. Whoever wins doesn't have to pay for dinner, which is always nice. And so I'm at the airport waiting to pick them up, and I'm in the hour paid, which is right by where you can offload and load up right there at the airport. And I saw the funniest slow speed chase you've ever seen in your life. And what I mean by slow speed chases is there was this elderly woman, and she had taken out her dog, who was like this little stuffed sausage dog, and she had set the dog down on the sidewalk, and it was a very old dog. Well, this dog promptly saw this as an opportunity to kind of start skedaddling away at a very slow clip, and she was following the dog at a very slow clip. Man, I wish I would have recorded it so I could show you how hilarious this was. And so that's the Dan Can music, the beauty of a slow speed chase. When we come back, I'm going to talk about the principles that you can live your life to help attract investors that will help you earn passive income and will help you earn a way of life that can help you provide, protect, and promote your family. After a word from our beautiful, wonderful, fantastic, exuberant sponsors.
Want to earn passive income without becoming a landlord? At Invest with DanCan, accredited investors tap into exclusive off-market real estate deals in America's fastest-growing regions. With expert local teams and proven systems, you get double-digit returns without the headaches of property management. Ready to build real wealth the smart way? Join us today. Provide, protect, promote.
Hi, welcome back. So the last two series, we've gone over what kind of attributes do we need to have in order to attract investors to invest with us. I don't expect you to remember the first three that we went over. So I'm going to go over those again, but rather quickly. The first one was this. We want to be consistently reliable. James, in the book of James, New Testament, it says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Man, sounds easy to do, but it can be tough. So I really encourage you to be consistent. I really encourage you to do what you say you're going to do. And if you don't, I encourage you to quickly apologize and say, if you give me another opportunity, this is what I'll do different. So you want to be consistently reliable. The second is you want to communicate transparency. And that looks like really telling people what you're doing and what you're not doing. I share a lot with my investors with properties that we pass on because I want them to know that I am strategically looking at each investment. I've been in the financial and in the insurance sector for over 20 years, 2 decades. If you do the mental math, that means that I own an insurance business and I was in the financial sector during the Great Recession. Ouch, that hurt. I learned a lot about myself. If you also do the mental math, that means that I had a business during the pandemic. I learned a lot about myself and others during that time. And so that transparency, if you bring it to the table, really builds what I call trust. And trust is not given, trust is earned. And you earn that by telling stories. You earn that by telling facts. You earn that by being honest. You earn that by time. You earn that by communicating mistakes that you or your team made. And also understanding that I want to correct those mistakes. Nobody is perfect, man. There's only one person that was perfect. That was JC, Jesus Christ. The rest of us, we're all on the even floor of not being perfect. And so you definitely want to communicate transparency. The third one was deliver value and competence. So I already kind of did that with a little bit. I've been in the financial insurance sector for 20 years. I've been underwriting for 20 years. And specifically in my market, I can look at a property and I can get a mental determined value pretty quick. Just some transparency, some values that I am having a little bit of difficulty with is when people want to borrow money to put an ADU on there, an additional structure. I don't have a lot of experience with that. And so I'm leaning on others to say, hey, what really kind of value does that bring? A single family home, 6-plex, small apartment complex, I can do that really quickly. A commercial, that's even easier. Single family home, adding an ADU, I definitely need to get some help on that. So those are our 3 things that we did last time. Now, the new stuff is this. First one is this: act with integrity. Seems so simple, but man, the news is full of people that do not do this. And acting with integrity just means that you're going to follow the law, that you're going to follow morals and ethics. You're going to do this. This is other people's money. They are giving you money. They are investing in real estate, but fundamentally, they're investing with you. And you need to make sure that you have the integrity that each one of those cents, each one of those dollars are accounted for. You know where they're going, and they're going into the vehicle, the investment vehicle that you say they're going to go into. I currently am managing about $9 million. Word gets out that you have that kind of money. And I have people contacting me wanting me to help them with other financial endeavors outside of real estate. Well, I can't do that. That's not what I'm about. Another thing that I can't do is I can't help people that are working on their primary residency. In our fund, we can only work with investment properties, commercial properties, obviously multifamily. We can't help people with their primary residency. And I continually have referral partners that will call me, and I listen and I'm polite and everything. And At the end of it, I was like, hey, once again, they're actually going to live in the property. That's a primary residency. I can't help with that. Here's a loan officer that can, but I cannot. So you want to make sure that you're operating with integrity. The fifth one, and this is one that if you can grasp and roll with it, you're going to have a very, very fulfilling life. And that is, you want to actively listen. You want to actively listen when you're talking to an investor. Well, you want to actively listen when you're talking to anybody, but really when you're actively listening, you want to listen. And I write this down almost every day on my to-dos. And maybe you should write this down. In fact, you should. Listen to understand. Listen to understand. I know once again that seems simple, but really think about your day. How many times when you're listening to somebody that you're actually listening to understand? You want to listen to understand because that will help that person feel valued. That will help you build trust. That will help you be consistent. That will help you be ethical. And these are all good things to attract quality investors. The last thing, two more. You want to be accountable. To be accountable means that you want to have a list of things that you're going to do each and every day, and you want to stick to those things. I'm reading a fantastic book right now, and I believe our next episode, I'm going to do a book report like I talked about. Every third, fourth episode, we'll do a book report. It's called, Build the Ultimate Sales Machine, and it's just fantastic. And I've been writing task lists for a very long time. And this gentleman, Chet, said, everybody writes lists, but if you want to get to that next level, you want to write down your list, and then you want to write down the time duration that you're going to dictate to that item. Whoa, talk about a game changer. I have become much more efficient and proficient during my day, and that has been fantastic. So I'd encourage you to write that down. Write down your to-do list, and then allocate a time duration that you're going to give to that. Really helps you out. Now, here's the last one. You want to build personal rapport. Oh my gosh, you can't be in sales and not hear this word, personal rapport. I had the blessing and honor to sponsor a lunch and speak to 22 Keller Williams agents here in beautiful Spokane, Washington. And the gentleman that's managing broker, he spoke before I did, and he talked at great length about how to build rapport. Rapport, I'm imagining, is a French word. But what I would say to that is, if you don't have a heart of humility and servanthood, if you don't have a genuine interest in something or somebody, it's going to be really hard to be authentic, and it's going to be really hard to build rapport. And so I'd really encourage you to do those things. Challenge yourself. If that's not natural for you, I would challenge yourself to jump into that world. It's a fulfilling life to ask people about their lives. Like for example, one time I'm at Costco, and it's busy, all this other stuff. And I was like, man, I'm going to try to get this guy to talk to me, the guy that's checking out all the food, because he kind of looked down. And I asked him, I said, hey, what's the biggest ticket item you've ever ran? Like your biggest sale, if you will. And man, I thought he was going to say like 8,500, 14,000, like maybe somebody bought some furniture or whatever. And he kind of looked at me and he smiled and he said, well, $200,000. I said, what? $200,000? You sell somebody a house? And so basically back in the day, apparently Costco sold cigarettes, and there was a woman who owned 16 convenience stores, and she would come in and she would buy all the cigarettes for, a couple months for these stores. And I was like, are you kidding me? And so I just built rapport with that guy. Is he going to be an investor? No. Did I enjoy the interaction? Yes. Did he? Yeah. Well, great. I want to be a light for Jesus. I want to enhance people's day. And I felt like that happened during that time. If you want to attract investors, and if you want to build a life where you can provide, protect, and promote, you have to have these items in your life in order to be successful. When we return, I'm going to come back and tell some stories about a couple of properties that we most recently picked up that I would really encourage you to try out if you're looking to get into the off-market world. If you're looking just to be a passive investor and you want to give me hundreds of thousands of dollars or maybe millions of dollars, I'd encourage you to go to my website, investwithdancan.com. When we come back from this sponsor, I will tell you how I've got a fantastic property for less than 50 cents on the dollar. Yes, 50 cents on the dollar. See you soon.
One accident can change everything. Are you covered? At DanCan Insurance Agency in Spokane, we protect what matters most. Your family, your car, your peace of mind. Get a free quote in under 60 seconds. DanCan because you can count on us. DanCan Insurance Agency specializes in auto, home, motorcycles, and life insurance. Call us today at 509-328-1422.
Hey, all right. So my real estate partner and I, we're going to flip 30 to 40 properties this year. Can you believe that? 30 to 40 properties. That's a lot. And you got to source these properties. Now, we primarily buy from wholesalers. So those are gentlemen and women who go out on the market and they find properties, we sell them, they get a commission. Now, we most recently started doing some of our own marketing and advertising. And so we're spending about 7 to 10 grand a month in advertising, primarily with search engine optimization, pay per click. And I really wanted to do some direct mail. And my partner, real estate partner, was kind of like rubbing against that. I was like, man, I did direct mail for 4 years. I can assure you that it works. And I was kind of like, oh, it works. But I did direct mail. I just know the results. So we did a mailer and we sent them out. Oh my gosh, we only got 5 phone calls. 5. But guess what? 2 of those phone calls really wanted to sell. And they really wanted to sell at a discount because of the current situation they were in. Like I mentioned before, 6 to 10% of houses or owners are in distress. 6 to 10%. That's a lot. And so these 2 were definitely in distress. One, they needed the money really quickly. They were a California, outside investor. We got under contract. We actually wholesaled that house, made some money. It was great. 2 to 3 weeks. Isn't that amazing? Well, we also got a call from this gentleman who's a business owner here in town, has 22 properties. He and his wife pretty much owe them free and clear. They're done. They just want to be done. So they sold us this property on a corner lot on a major road, which is great. The tax assessed value is $170,000. We bought it for $60,000 off a direct mail piece because they were tired of the tenant and they've known the tenant forever and they don't feel comfortable evicting them. Whoa, $60,000, $170,000 tax assessed value. In Spokane, you can add anywhere from 5 to 20% on top of that 170. So we definitely got that under contract. We bought it in less than 5 days. That's our model, is we continually buy these properties. And there's so many different avenues of how you can acquire the property, whether it's a referral from a real estate agent, direct mail, search engine optimization, pay per click. It's door knocking. There's just so many ways to come across these properties. In our fund, we find these properties. In our fund, other investors find these properties. I know that the real estate market, a lot of people are saying that it's going down, all this other stuff. I would tell you this, it's just actually normal now. We had 3 years where it was just a freak show, if you will. It was nuts. Now we're getting back to, 38 days average on market before you get an offer. If it's priced right, if it's not priced right, you're going to be holding that thing for a long time. If it's priced below market, you're going to sell it quicker. Like, these are just the fundamentals of real estate. And that's exactly where we're at again. So if you want to participate in deals like the one I just said, now that's a sweetheart deal. Normally we're at 20, 30, 40% of value. That one is way below even 50% of value. It's a great, great deal. What we're going to do, we're going to take a break. I'm going to wrap it all together and we're going to go on our merry way. All right. Okay. So let's do a quick recap. We want to provide, protect, and promote. We want to invest in ourselves, others, and real estate. I want to go over the 7 things that will help you attract those kind of investors that will give you hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars. So first thing you want to do is be consistently reliable. You want to communicate with transparency. You want to deliver value and competence. You want to act with integrity. You want to listen actively and respectfully. You want to listen and understand. You want to be accountable, and you want to build personal rapport, listening to understand. These are fundamentals that will help you have a very, very successful business and fundamentally a very, very successful life. Thank you so much for your time. I'll talk with you soon. Dan Can.